Good evening. Welcome to your channel, Fable Wonderland. I'm Dr. Boisi, and today I present to you the fable titled The Cricket, the Metamorph Worm, and the Virus. The soul of a strong and reckless warrior had reincarnated into a cricket. Having learned nothing from karma, he felt so powerful that he believed he had the full freedom to do whatever he wished. In the mornings, he wandered through the forests, drinking the dew from the leaves, digging immense tunnels that end in huge singing chambers. On both day and night, he would aggressively kill and devour his fellow crickets. One day, after drinking water from a river, he noticed a fragile little egg on the shore. And confident in his strength, he swallowed it. It so happened that from the egg hatched a metamorph worm, which began to feed on the cricket's internal organs, slowly devouring its brain. Soon, the worm fully developed and grew strong, occupying much of the cricket's body. When it gained control over all his impulse, it ordered the cricket to throw himself into the river. After the cricket drowned, the worm left its body, and so the soul of the strong and reckless cricket reincarnated, this time into a fragile little worm egg, from which a strong and reckless nematomorph worm was born. Since he had not yet learned from karma, he felt so powerful that he believed he had full freedom to do whatever he wished. One day, he found the infected corpse of another worm and ate it. It so happened that in the infected flesh on the dead worm, there was a virus, which, after entering the nematomorph worm's body, began to devour him fiercely, altering his vital functions until it caused his death. Thus, the soul of the strong and reckless nematomorph worm reincarnated, this time, into a virus. Moral: those who are convinced they have control over themselves will always end up losing it. Well, let's go to check the 4 theoretical elements that are important in this fable. First of all, I would like to talk about Pu Songling and his book Liao Shai Shiji. Pu Songling was a well-known Chinese author of the 17th century whose collection of short stories explores the supernatural, addressing themes of reincarnation, spirits, and moral lessons. In one of the stories narrated by Pu Songling in Liao Shai Shiji, due to his selfish and cruel behavior, he saw reincarnation into a cricket after his death. As a cricket, the former warrior continues to display his arrogant and inconsiderate nature. The cricket, still with the memory of its past life, acts with the same aggression and lack of respect toward its peers. This leads to its defeat and consumption by a smaller and seemingly insignificant enemy, symbolizing the inevitable consequence of its past behavior. The story uses the reincarnation to the warrior as a mean to teach lessons about humility and respect. It shows how karma and the actions of one life can affect future existence and how bad actions can follow a person even after death. Well, the point number two that I would like to talk about is the endoparasites. Okay, maybe some of you know about parasites. Parasites is a biological relationship in which one organism, the parasite, lives inside or another organism, the host, and depends on it for nutrients and sustenance. The relationship is usually harmful to the host, which often experience damage or disadvantage as a result of the parasite's presence. Parasites can occur in a variety of forms and with different types of organisms. In the fable, we see an example of endoparasites, where the parasite lives inside the host bodies and manipulates it by affecting some of its vital function. Okay, point number three, I'm going to talk about infected crickets. Crickets imbibed by a nematomorph worm are an intriguing topic in parasitology. Nematomorph worms, also known as horsehair worms, are parasites with a fascinating life cycle, often involving the manipulation of their host to complete their development. Nematomorph worms began their life as eggs that develop it inside the body of a host, usually an insect or arachnid. The eggs hatch into the larvae, which then migrate through the host's internal tissues. Once the larvae have developed sufficiently, the nematomorph worm manipulates the host behavior. Worms that infect crickets often induce a behavior that drives the crickets to jump into water. This behavioral manipulation is crucial for the worm as it needs to reach water to complete its development. Finally, I'm going to talk about infected worms. The parasites of nematomorph worms by viruses is a less common and less studied topic compared to other types of parasites. Nematomorph worms can be infected by viruses when they are their larval or adult stage. Viral infection can occur through various mechanisms, such as ingestion of contaminated materials or exposure to an infected environment, as happens in the fable. Well, I hope you really enjoy this fable. I would appreciate your support by subscribing to this channel, watching the videos, and clicking on the like button. That's all for now. I will be will I I will be waiting for you next week with an amazing and very interesting fable on your channel, Fable Wonderland. Thank you very much for your attention and have a nice day. See you next week.